Welcome. It's not always we have the inner sanctum of Arnoff opened up. It's pretty exciting. On behalf of my entire family, the Arnoff Executive Committee, our leadership and management, and all of our team members, we welcome you to our headquarters location. We are all so proud to be based here in the beautiful Dutchess County. Almost 91 years ago, my grandfather and great-grandfather saw an opportunity to develop a moving company in the northeastern corner of Dutchess County. They lived in Lakeville, just across the border, and the largest town with rail service direct to New York City was Millerton. Today we have 3 of our major facilities in Dutchess County, 2 in Poughkeepsie and 1 still in Millerton, New York. Today, Arnoff services those same local communities with the highest quality moving and storage services. We have also evolved by providing international moving services, custom crating and packaging, portable storage, containers and pods style storage for home and industry, nationwide specialty trucking, and expert machinery moving for clean room and factories. I also have to mention that 3 members of the 5th generation, 2 of our sons and 1 nephew, have joined my parents and my wife. We are all so proud to have continued to service the Hudson Valley. This afternoon is truly about leadership. The necessity of leadership is in part caused by the rate of rapid change that most of us face every day. New companies with new ideas spring up overnight. Products and services that were revolutionary 2 years ago are obsolete if they don't adapt to market change. Without someone at the helm steering the ship, these challenges would cause any organization to be swept away by those waves of change. Here in Dutchess County, we are blessed to have Marcus Molinaro at the helm of our ship. I am so honored to introduce him and turn this podium over so we can be the first to hear about the greatness which will blossom here in 2015.
Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Mike, and thank you to the entire Arnoff family. I'm very, very grateful. Would you join me in a nice round of applause to Arnoff, Moving and Storage, to the Arnoff family. I couldn't have said it better myself. I didn't write it. And of equal importance, or greater importance, I should say, this business represents what hard work, dedication, integrity will bring you in life. And you and your family are model citizens and a model business. And for that, we are exceptionally grateful. So again, thank you for having us today. Also, to recognize and acknowledge that we have a number of I used to be a younger person, so there are younger people here today. We have a group of seniors from Arlington High School, and I wanted to welcome you and thank you for coming. I'll try to be entertaining. I want to acknowledge my good friend and State Assemblywoman, Dee Dee Barrett, is here with us today. Thank you, Dee Dee, for joining us. I appreciate that very much. There are a number of local elected officials. It's impossible for me to acknowledge all of you individually, but I do want to recognize a few. First, our county's District Attorney, Bill Grady. Bill, thank you for joining us. Bill has been a great partner, and I'm very, very grateful for his service and the work that we've accomplished together. Someone who you can either blame for me becoming county executive or compliment because of it, and that is an individual who, while he served as chairman of the county legislature, gave me a great opportunity to serve as chairman of the Budget and Finance Committee and some other responsibilities, and that is my good friend and our county clerk, Brad Kendall. Thank you, Brad. I want to thank our greater host, the supervisor of the town of Poughkeepsie. Todd Tancredi is a phenomenal public servant and has led the town of Poughkeepsie with great skill, and for that, Dutchess County is grateful. Todd, thank you. And let me also extend my thanks to Majority Leader Angela Flesland, to Minority Leader Barbara Jeter Jackson, to the Chairman of the Budget, Finance, and Personnel Committee of the County Legislature, Dale Borkett, and pause to acknowledge and thank my good friend, Chairman of the County Legislature, Rob Rollison. To all of you, thank you for being here. I want to extend my thanks to Rob personally. Rob Rollison has been a tremendous chairman. He has allowed for differences of opinion, for debate, for dialogue. He has allowed, even when he is on the opposite side of an issue, for the others to prevail. But most importantly, Rob Rollison, his entire life, whether it's law enforcement, domestic violence, or steering the ship of the county legislature, has put policy and the people of Dutchess County ahead of politics. And I don't think anyone will know how true that is beyond perhaps me and you. Rob Rollison deserves all and great recognition. And Rob, thank you for your service and your friendship and your partnership. So if you didn't get to enjoy the Dutchess County Airport, I want to bring you there for just a moment. It was only several weeks ago that the Collins Foundation brought the Wings of Freedom to our airport. These historic warbirds, these planes, were just a phenomenal experience for the thousands of visitors and sightseers who got to enjoy them. They also, however, represent and come from a generation that understood the meaning of sacrifice. They understood, that generation, how important it was to make even the toughest decisions and to stand strong when you knew you were right. I had the pleasure of bringing my two kids to our airport, and I have to tell you, I'm not a plane guy. I'm a plane guy, but not a plane guy. But it wasn't until I was there and could experience it that I truly understood the magic that could occur here, but more importantly, really the spirit embodied in these planes. I grew up at the foot of my grandfather. My mother's father always lived across the street, upstairs, downstairs, or up the road. So I learned a lot about his service during World War II. And he, in fact, served a brief time on a Flying Fortress, one of these planes that was on display. He served in France, and he instilled in me lessons of sacrifice and responsibility. But it wasn't until we got to the Dutchess County Airport, many years since my grandfather has passed, that I was able to explain those stories to my son Jack. And it was there at Dutchess County's airport with these planes in the background that I was able to connect really the message, the life of that generation with my son. And that was like magic. But what I also was reminded of is that this generation, more than any, understood that sometimes there are setbacks and that solutions take time to bring about results. But above all, we all must sacrifice and take responsibility for the responsibility we have been granted. And that is sort of where we start the 2015 budget presentation. The comeback trail for Dutchess County is arduous. It is winding and it is steep. But I can assure you that I know quite well the capacity of the people who live here. We won't give up and we won't back down because Dutchess County continues to move forward. So let's reflect on where we began some years ago. When I became county executive, we were staring at a $40 million budget gap after 8 years of economic downturn, a continually shrinking tax base, and an increased demand for services, all within the context of increased state and federal mandates. Certainly not what I wanted to stare at when I became county executive. No county government wants to confront those particular challenges. So we immediately began a multi-year transformation in partnership with the county legislature, local leaders, town, village, and city officials, and business leaders and community leaders from across the county. We began a multi-year transformation to reshape the way county government functions, to identify all throughout new efficiencies, confronting, finally, long-standing challenges and problems, all while holding the line on spending and ultimately restoring fiscal stability. And now in 2014 into 2015, we are beginning to see the benefits of this multi-year transformation. Our policies and decisions are working, and the results can be seen in the proposed 2015 budget. Again, this year, with no layoffs and no increase in workforce, we are the smallest workforce in 32 years. For the third year in a row, with the 2015 tentative budget, we reduce spending, there are no new taxes, we have restored fiscal stability, and this budget will provide the largest property tax levy decrease in over a decade. All of this together provides Dutchess County residents the ability to receive a tax rebate check paid for by the state of New York. When you take the levy reduction that we're proposing and add the rebate check that residents would get if this budget is adopted, it equates to approximately 2% reduction in tax burden. I am grateful to the county legislature who made tough decisions and worked with us to accomplish these results. But I'm also and equally grateful to Dutchess County's workforce. We are blessed with wonderful men and women who serve in all areas of county government, who not only commit their time because they're paid to do so, but they give back to the community through volunteering, through giving time, through ensuring that our community and our shared quality of life is better. We have a tireless workforce that has been asked to do a heck of a lot more with so much less, and I am grateful to each and every one of them, and I'd ask you to join me in extending our thanks to Dutchess County's workforce. They, us, Dutchess County, like every county in the state of New York, all accomplishes all of this within the context of ever-growing state and federal mandates. This is the 70-30 world that I've talked about probably more than you'd like to hear about. But 70% of Dutchess County's budget, 70% of Dutchess County's taxation, 70% of every dollar we collect in taxes go to pay for programs and spending created, organized, and imposed by Albany or Washington. And this continued growth in mandated spending is crowding out those critical services that Dutchess County residents expect from their government. In fact, just to point to a few, all of these and more add up to a gross cost of $300 million for Dutchess County in mandated expenditures, mandated state and federal spending. To highlight just a few, the MTA, $1.3 million. Medicaid, $42.6 million. Preschool special education, $8.6 million. And even the Dutchess County Jail, at $38.5 million, and it is an underfunded state mandate. Every day, state and federal mandates dictate on everything that we do. Every aspect of what we do is dictated by a state or federal policy or program or mandate. And this is your dollar. 70 cents of Dutchess County's dollar, 70 cents of the dollar that you pay, certainly not willingly, in taxation, goes to pay for those mandated programs. We need just those 30 cents, just those 30 cents to provide those core critical services that Dutchess County residents expect from us. And so now, especially now, before the end of the week, before the next 7 days, and moving into the 2015 year with the state legislature, now is the time to keep the pressure on Albany. I'd ask you to join with us in signing our petition, calling on the state legislature to stop the mandates. No new mandates. We'd ask you to join and visit dutchessny.gov, our website, to do that. Now is the time to put the brakes and allow the economy to grow and allow county governments at the local level to do the work that we need to get done to serve the people we serve. Now, we have been confronting the issue of state mandates while at the same time trying to provide those core critical services. This is the environment we live in. Pressure from above, demand from our citizens, and all throughout New York State, counties and communities are under fiscal distress. In fact, the state of New York created a whole policy to deal with counties and communities under fiscal distress. Whether it's in Dutchess County or across the state, there are communities that are in desperate need of financial assistance. To ensure fiscal stability, however, this county has worked to reestablish our fund balance. As you know, I came into office having virtually the entire fund balance appropriated in the 2012 budget. But by being responsible in appropriations and realistic with revenue projections, we've been able, over the course of the last 3 years, to replenish that fund balance. And now, for the first time since 2011, Dutchess County's rainy day funds, if you will, represent 5% of our total budget. This 5% meets the threshold established, the recommended threshold established by the state of New York. Now, even in the 2015 tentative budget, we are appropriating a modest amount, $4.2 million of fund balance. Even with that appropriation, it's a conservative appropriation, we still will maintain that 5% minimum threshold. This threshold, this minimum reserve, is not only recommended, it's necessary. It provides for fiscal stability and addresses issues of cash flow. And also provides us the ability to handle unexpected events such as 32, 33, or 34 snowstorms, or some unforeseen state or federal mandated program. It is critical that we sustain that minimum fund balance. It is critical to do that in order to ensure this county's fiscal stability. We also, as I think many of you know, have several open, actually we have all open contracts with our collective bargaining units. I want to pause here and again extend my thanks. Currently, we are in active negotiations with all of Dutchess County's collective bargaining units, but I am personally grateful to Dutchess County's employees for their sacrifice. We have asked them to do a lot more with a lot less. And I do want to reassure Dutchess County's workforce that the time has come, after years of not taking any increase in pay, the time has come to settle contracts that compensate you appropriately, recognizing the need to balance that against the burden taxpayers shoulder today. And as taxpayers yourselves, you've been asked to shoulder a lot, and I am grateful to you for that. I've instructed our negotiation team to actively negotiate and to conclude contract negotiations as soon as possible. I'd like to recognize, I know that the president of the Civil Service Employees Association Union, I believe, is here. I would like to recognize Liz Perano, your negotiating team, your leadership. I am grateful for your friendship, for your support, and for your consistent efforts to get us to the table and deliver home a contract that reflects our mutual respect for taxpayers, but the need, finally, to give Dutchess County's employees a recognition for the work that they've done. So thank you, Liz, and thank you to CSCA. They're not alone. CSCA is not alone. We're obviously negotiating with Dutchess County's correction officers, our PBA, and a new union represented by NYSET, and I'm grateful to all of them. But I am particularly grateful to the men and women who have served over these last 3 years because you have definitely sacrificed. Now, this budget, the 2015 tentative budget, doesn't appropriate any money for contracts, but it's been built in a way to accommodate a settlement and an agreement, and that's one more reason to sustain that 5% minimum threshold in the county's fund balance. Now, last week we were pleased to announce some important news. All of the work that we have done over the course of the last 3 years, the management of the county's finances, has led Standard & Poor's to upgrade Dutchess County's credit rating. The tough decisions that we made has led S&P to upgrade us to AA+. They recognize our strong budgetary performance, a growing and stronger economy, but most notably conservative and strong management conditions. The AA+ rating puts us in the top tier of financially well-managed county governments, and that doesn't happen because the county executive or the chairman of the legislature wants it to. Dutchess County is blessed with great community servants in their own right who serve in our budget office and in our Department of Finance, and I'd like to recognize our budget director, Val Somerville, our commissioner of finance, Heidi Seelbach, and the entire finance team, both in budget and in finance, who help us not only develop but manage Dutchess County's residents' dollars. And for that, you've earned the AA+ rating, and I am grateful. Thank you. Now, in light of municipalities that are in fiscal distress, this particular rating is increasingly more important. Why? Because a high bond rating reduces the cost of borrowing. It also serves as a key indicator for job creators and businesses. We are well-managed and fiscally stable. It also reflects our successful effort to restore that stability, and for that we were recognized with this bond rating. Of course, it does send just the right message at just the right time. Overall, though, too many in elected office these days tend to ignore problems. In fact, I've been reading about all the people ignoring problems in my mailbox because I keep getting literature telling me that one person has ignored a problem, another person has ignored a problem. But I haven't been reading those little cards in the mail that say, I'm interested in accomplishing this for you, right? Too often in politics and in government, the message is all about what the other lady or the other guy didn't do. That's not the message that Dutchess County will send to its taxpayers ever. We are interested in working together to solve problems. We will not ignore them. There are no simple solutions. And the answers, the choices we make and have to make, are meant to address the problem, not to prolong it, and not certainly to oppose it for political benefit. We have not and we will not shy away from our problems. We have and we will confront them head on. And I say this again, despite the fact that a few of my colleagues chuckle when I say it. We welcome to the table anyone who is honestly and earnestly committed to problem solving. Whether it's a state assemblywoman on the other side of the aisle or a conservative Republican down the road, our job is to get people to the table, to work together, and to solve problems. And if you don't want to engage in that, find another line of work. Dutchess County is committed to solving the problems facing the people of this county, and we began with one of the largest challenges facing all of us, one we have some control over, Dutchess County's jail. There isn't an easy answer. And if you think we can solve it by bits and pieces, we cannot. This is one of those problems that demanded a total solution. So we began aggressively when I became county executive to address our county's inmate housing out problem. Inmate housing out costs us $8 million. It is a crisis that needed to be addressed. And the jail itself is an underfunded state mandate, and we have together finally taken control of the problem. By approval of the legislature to move forward with temporary housing units, we expect those to be built and occupied within the first quarter of 2015. The tentative 2015 budget reflects a $1 million savings housing out versus housing in the temporary pods. The savings is made possible through a great relationship with the jail administration and our county sheriff, Butch Anderson, and his entire team. It's also made possible through a reworked, positive relationship with the state's Commission on Corrections and our willingness to commit to a total long-term solution. With this budget, we also began an open and transparent process to solve the problem. Our focus is to improve public safety, strengthen the criminal justice system, reduce recidivism, enhance the vision for the neighborhood in the city of Poughkeepsie, and save tax dollars. And we will do just that. One other problem that confronted us when I came into office, I inherited the Resource Recovery Agency. And over the course of the last 3 years, we've turned it around. When I came into office, the taxpayer subsidy was nearly $4 million. So we took action. We worked together to develop a solid waste management plan that focuses on increased recycling rates. We implemented a new management contract, more beneficial to Dutchess County and its taxpayers, and we negotiated a public-private partnership with Royal Carding. And I think some of their folks are here today. I want to personally extend our thanks to the team at Royal Carding, Emil, Evelyn, and Jim, and everyone else who participated in that negotiation. Thank you. That partnership guarantees volume, which allows Dutchess County in 2015, the first time since 1994, to eliminate taxpayer subsidy. There is no net service fee for the Resource Recovery Agency in the 2015 budget, no taxpayer subsidy, and I am grateful that we've been able to turn this business around. And thank you all for your help making that happen. I believe that government in the state of New York hasn't changed all that much in the last 200 years. It just has gotten bigger, broader, and there's more of it. So when we began our efforts together, we acknowledged that the status quo just isn't good enough for us. The turbulence isn't all that bad, and we engaged in and began an historic transformation of county government. This year, the 2015 budget continues those efforts. We continue to do so by bringing together in consolidation the Departments of Health and Mental Hygiene. I think, as you know, we are embarking in a 15-month merger of the Department of Health and Department of Mental Hygiene, and concluding with bringing it together as one department under one dynamic commissioner. We've begun a nationwide search to find just the right individual who represents both an expertise in community health but also mental health and behavioral health. This is critically important. It is time that we fight, combat, and end the stigma that too often is associated with mental illness. And if we're going to merge the departments, we want to elevate this county's commitment beyond what we've already done, and we've been a leader in mental health services. We want to elevate this county's commitment to mental health and bring it on equal footing, if you will, with public and community health, and we will do that through this merger and with the support of a great team of individuals. Our focus is to increase the level of service while decreasing costs to taxpayers. We'll accomplish this through greater integration and more effective delivery of mental health and health services. The 2015 budget begins that merger by bringing together IT services and the back office administration. This is a model approach. It really is. I am not familiar with a county in New York that has taken on the challenge of doing this really well and really right. Bring together the two departments under one leader with a focus on enhancing the delivery of service, in particular growing our commitment to mental health and behavioral health services. This approach has been helped and supported by funding that we secured when I became county executive and has grown ever since. The 2015 tentative budget does include $3.5 million in state finances for state funding for mental health services, particularly in the area of prevention, intervention, and diversion. I thank our state legislators. I acknowledge that Dee Dee Barrett is here with us today, and the state legislature is to be commended for meeting us halfway on this problem, and for that we are grateful. But this is all about transforming the way in which we deliver mental health services and really challenging the very structure of county government. Well, we've reached well beyond that too, right? Last year we launched 2 years ago, not only this consolidation and transformation of county government, but we launched an unprecedented government consolidation and shared services program. Government must change to meet the needs of its residents. So we launched a competitive grant with measurable outcomes to incentivize consolidation. And with that, Dutchess County's towns, cities, and villages are making history. Supervisors and mayors, board members and council members all across this county have really engaged in this effort. And I'd ask all of you to join me in thanking the local elected officials who have made this a priority. This isn't about eliminating your level of government. This is about making sure government functions effectively. And you cannot argue in the state of New York that government functions, effectively. That government functions effectively. You have to challenge the very core, the very foundation of government, because otherwise government is allowed to tell you what to do. I would offer to you that the citizens of Dutchess County get to decide what their government ought to look like, and your towns, villages, and cities are embracing it. You're leading that effort, and for that, would you join me in thanking them for their service and leadership? Through this partnership, we also continue to expand shared services. The highest return on the least investment. Does every layer of government need to do all things? No, I suggest every layer of government ought to do the things your citizens want you to do, and where we can do it more efficiently and effectively, we ought to make sure that level of government does it. The Dutchess County model includes expanded shared services. We've enhanced our IT services, working with municipalities, website design. We've expanded our workers' compensation pool, allowing municipalities to participate. We've offered purchasing services, printing services, and so much more. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, we organized and brought together in our first Shared Services Summit 100 community leaders from across Dutchess County, all around the table, to learn not only about where and what we can do together, but redefine what we do together. In fact, so many great ideas came out of that summit. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a brainstorming session next. But Dutchess County, because of all of this, is not only attempting to weather the economic and political storms, we're positioning ourselves well to meet the state's criteria, which we didn't need. By the way, we were well on our way to government efficiency and reorganization. But under the state's criteria, we are well positioned to present our government efficiency plans. And because of our willingness, 3 years in a row, to cut spending And with this budget to reduce the tax levy, Dutchess County taxpayers will qualify for a rebate check to be sent to them next fall. Now, we've also applied the same basic expectations, measurable outcomes, incentivizing shared goals to the way in which we fund our not-for-profit agencies. Through the Agency Partnership Grant Program that we launched several years ago, we've instituted a competitive grant process with measurable outcomes, all in an effort to address community needs in partnership with our not-for-profits. The 2015 tentative budget includes a $75,000 increase to our Agency Partnership Grant Program. This will help us to address ever-expanding issues like domestic violence and the opiate and drug epidemic. I am grateful to our partnership with those not-for-profits, and I certainly know there are a number of you here, and I think you deserve a round of our applause for your service. In partnership, not-for-profits should and can do the things that government ought not. And in this case, we have a great working relationship, and I'm very, very grateful. The program has been well received, and we are making a difference throughout the community. Now, several years ago, we developed a new aggressive economic development strategy, and Dutchess County this year launches Moving Dutchess Forward. This is a real obvious commitment to the very concept of, I guess, or the very idea of being in a moving and storage facility, so I appreciate that. It's far too obvious, but nevertheless. The concept here is that we have assets and we have abilities to help to move the economy forward. We want to get out of the way and allow the private sector to grow where it makes sense, and we want to incentivize where we can. So several years ago, we developed our For Our Future economic development strategy, and with that, we brought together an alliance of economic development leaders, organizations all across Dutchess County committed to economic development. And I would, at this point, I do want to pause because I do want to thank not only, not just specifically those who are listed, but our good friends at Dutchess County's Economic Development Corporation and Dutchess County Tourism. Thank you for your service. But most notably, at this point, I want to acknowledge and thank Dutchess County's Regional Chamber of Commerce. They've been a great partner. You always were a part of economic development. Now you're forefront in the alliance. And ladies and gentlemen, we not only welcome Frank Costella to his new leadership role, but I think, again, it is appropriate to acknowledge our good friend and someone who has been a tremendous cheerleader for the county and at Dutchess County businesses, Charlie North. Charlie, thank you. So we've brought together this alliance, and I'm grateful for the partnership and the collaboration, and we are beginning to see modest growth. In fact, we are turning the corner, and we are, in fact, on the comeback trail. There are modest and subtle indicators that prove growth. In particular, when I took office in 2012, Dutchess County's unemployment rate was 8.2%. Today, 5.1%. We recognize there are so many who either have given up looking for jobs or are struggling looking for jobs, but the indicators and the projections are we are moving forward, certainly modestly, and for that we are grateful. The median home price last year, in fact, was $243,000. Today, $249,000. And interestingly, the entrepreneurial spirit, Mr. Arnoff, is alive and well in Dutchess County. In the last 2 years alone, Dutchess County has seen the filing and establishment of nearly 4,000 new small businesses of all sizes, all shapes and sizes. And that is a good message that brings with it countywide success. And there is success and points of great opportunity and promise all across this county. Small businesses propping up throughout the county, whether it's in the city of Beacon or in the Harlem Valley in eastern Dutchess, whether it's an engineering firm celebrating its 70 or 65 years, or right here, our good friends at Arnoff celebrating 90 years of service. Dutchess County's business leaders are dedicated not only to ensuring they succeed, but that the county succeeds. And with that, we are exceptionally grateful. How about another nice round of applause to our friends here at Arnoff, and we appreciate the host hosting us today. There are also many construction projects underway, and I want to point you just to a few. Whether it's the Northern Dutchess Hospital in Northwest Dutchess County, or Eastern Dutchess in the Harlem Valley, or a mini project. That's actually not a little project, it's a Mini Cooper that they're building. Never mind. It sounded much funnier when I thought of it earlier. No. There are projects underway in northern, eastern, southern, and central Dutchess helping to revitalize our community centers and bring about great vibrancy. all throughout Dutchess County's villages, cities, and hamlets. There is promise, there is opportunity, and there is growth. In fact, just yesterday, the state of New York announced another $3 million in investment to improve bicycle and pedestrian accessibility all across the county, and for that we are grateful. Dutchess County is moving forward, and we are on the comeback trail. With that, we could not have a presentation on our finances and fiscal condition without also recognizing the fact that we have been retaining and expanding Dutchess County's businesses. Have to note the gap expansion. This is the largest investment in job commitment in recent history, with $96 million in capital investment in 1,200 new jobs. Of course, the announcement last week of Global Foundries entering a relationship or deal with IBM East Fishkill, specifically IBM East Fishkill, does provide for us great stability. It provides stabilization for the region, but as importantly, it provides stabilization for their employees, and that is good news for us. Overall, in Dutchess County, there are over $2 billion of projects in various stages of development countywide. That is an amazing investment that will continue to grow as we continue moving Dutchess forward. Now, we believe, and I believe, that government needs to get out of the way often in order to allow business to grow. In fact, we have created in this state layer upon layer, regulation upon regulation, challenge upon challenge, making it more and more difficult for even those businesses that we want, that we have encouraged to come to our community, to even get through the door, let alone grow. Dutchess County needs to be a greater partner, and by the way, I would say so do our municipalities. So this is a constant effort for us, if you will. Shifting, in 2015, we begin to shift the focus at the county's Department of Planning and Development, all with the focus on making doing business in Dutchess County easier. So the new focus, or a revised focus of the Department of Planning and Development, will be to work alongside our municipalities, like the town of Poughkeepsie, who, by the way, has led with great examples. There are numbers of them throughout the county, Beacon and Hyde Park, and certainly others, where we've partnered. But we want to partner with municipalities to help develop shovel-ready sites by assisting with environmental reviews, conducting the generic environmental impact statements, in essence, making projects shovel-ready, ready for build, all in an effort to revitalize our downtowns, grow our commercial centers, and reinvest in our community. With this effort, we're planning to take the Department of Planning staff and make them sort of technicians, hands-on, all in an effort to be partners in growth, changing the plans, making the plans that they have helped develop, great planning land use documents all across this county, making them reality, focusing on bringing about growth and economic development. Additionally, the 2015 budget includes targeted investment in certain areas. These strategic investments meant to enhance our economy. The 2015 budget includes a $250,000 commitment to business recruitment and attraction. It includes a $120,000 commitment to agricultural development, farming, development across the county. Additionally, we increase by $350,000 our tourism promotion budget. I have to pause here because that $350,000, combined with the base that tourism receives through the county budget, along with funding through the Dutchess County Industrial Development Agency, means that our tourism promotion budget will exceed $1 million. And what I will tell you is a dollar spent on tourism, even during the most difficult of economic climates, has produced growth. The one segment of our economy that has seen consistent growth over these last several years has been tourism. And it's not, and I don't mean to put it this way, but it's not just historic sites. It's historic sites and farms. It's new shops and retails. It's Dutchess Hops, and it's downtown Rhinebeck. And they are jobs of all value with all incomes, and we are exceptionally grateful to the Tourism Promotion Agency, now Dutchess Tourism, Inc., for their work, and we are looking forward to this expanded effort. So $250,000 for recruitment and attraction, $120,000 for agricultural development, and $350,000 more for tourism, all in an effort to expand our attraction, development, and promotion efforts, and we have a good team under the leadership of a number of people at EDC Tourism and the Chamber of Commerce. I've recognized you, and I want to extend, again, thank you for your service. Kathy Maloney, Mary Kay Verba, Charlie North for the time, and, of course, Frank Costello. Thank you all, and thank you again for your service. I appreciate it. I don't think it's necessary to say that infrastructure in northeastern America, perhaps in entire America, is aged and getting worse. The truth of the matter is we all have aging infrastructure, and perhaps because we don't see it all the time, although we don't pay attention to it all the time, we take it somewhat for granted. It is time to make targeted investments in infrastructure, and the 2015 capital plan invests $9.7 million in critical road, highway, and bridge work throughout the county. Now, this $9.7 million will help us leverage federal and state dollars for a total investment of $33.3 million in road, highway, and bridge repairs throughout Dutchess County in 2015. Now, this also includes very specific investment in projects that are of great need or have economic development potential, all in an effort to help move products and people in the county forward. Additionally, I'm sending a $1 million request, bonding request to the Dutchess County Legislature to recapitalize our partnership for manageable growth. The focus, however, will be on infrastructure and the infrastructure affiliated associated with farming, all in an effort to partner with our towns, villages, and cities to bring water and sewer services, whether they be repair or new facilities, to Dutchess County's commercial corridors, business community, and agricultural industry, a much-needed investment. Now, if we're going to be economically competitive, Dutchess County needs to do what it can, and I've outlined what we can afford to do in 2015. But the truth of the matter is we need partners in Albany and in Washington. The entire cost of doing business in the state of New York is just too darn high, and we need help. And we are presenting to the county legislature a series of resolutions asking to help Dutchess County and perhaps the whole state be more economically competitive through the repeal of several taxes. It is now time. It is now time. If we are going to ask the state, those are pretty flowers, if we're going to ask the state legislature to, those are poppies, go to sleep. It's what happens when you go off. No. Don't worry, she's getting a little flustered, but everything's going to be okay, and I'm going to continue. If we're going to ask the state legislature for help, now's the time to ask them for it. I've sent resolutions over with the 2015 tentative budget requesting the state of New York repeal the MTA payroll tax, repeal the MTA vehicle fee, and repeal the 18A surcharge. This is New York State's energy tax, and it's time that it ceases to exist, and we seek a reversal of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission's decision. And these are broad-based resolutions, but I'll tell you there's something unique about them. Every county has said, please do this, please do this. But what we're saying is we join in the chorus. We want these taxes eliminated because they're crippling businesses and they're hurting the middle class in Dutchess County and throughout the state of New York. And if you can't do it for the entire state, then we want home rule authority to do it for us because we want Dutchess County taxpayers to get the benefit and we want to be more economically competitive. So we've sent those resolutions over to the legislature because they are slowing our economic recovery and they are making it more expensive to do business and they're hurting the middle class throughout the state of New York and this community. Now, we also have to focus on Dutchess County's assets, and the fact of the matter is we have a few that are in deep need of attention. So we continue our efforts at the Dutchess County Airport. We continue to reduce the county subsidy. In fact, since 2011, we have cut taxpayer subsidy of the airport by 44%. We've worked with an industry professional to develop a strategic plan. We're pursuing the privatization of airport operations, in fact, moving fairly aggressively in that direction. And now, as many of you know, and has been called for by the administration and by this analysis, it is time to pursue bringing water service to the county airport. It's time that we bring water from the Central Water Corridor to the buildings and facilities at Dutchess County's airport, and I have sent a bond request to the legislature. I am seeking immediate approval so that we can move forward with bringing water to the airport. It is critical. We are turning away prospective employers, we are turning away prospective businesses, and we are hindering the economic benefit of Dutchess County's airport, and we can improve that substantially by bringing water service to it. Additionally, the airport is an unusual, if not interesting, event venue. As I mentioned, we partnered with the Collins Foundation to bring the wings of freedom. I want to thank John Morris and the staff at the airport because they made that was one turnkey operation, bringing these historic planes, and quite frankly, there were just so many. I think traffic stopped on the road as people were watching the planes take off. Well, we're working to bring the wings of freedom back, and I'm very happy to announce to you that we are assembling a team to bring back a traditional air show to Dutchess County's airport. We think not only will it have great tourism benefit, but there'll be economic benefit to it as well. But the focus, again, is invest in this critical asset because it can make money for the county, can enhance economic development efforts, and our focus will be to end taxpayer subsidy. So we are moving this county forward. Our focus to implement an economic development strategy, reorganize the Department of Planning and Development, invest in infrastructure, revitalize the county airport, and fight for critical tax relief. And through all of these initiatives, we are moving ahead aggressively, and we have accomplished so very much with all of your help and input. In fact, a lot of help and input. I often say, once a village mayor, always a village mayor. I started my public service career as the mayor of Tivoli, as you know. You couldn't walk from the village hall to the post office in less than 2 hours, and they're only 2 buildings apart. Because in local government, as we all know, when you're out on the street, somebody stops you. I'm in the grocery store, somebody says, "You do your own shopping?" So I don't have like people who buy my groceries, but thank you, I appreciate it. Yes, I know how much a gallon of milk costs. Government is best when it serves the people. And the only way to adequately serve people is to actually be among people. And I believe that county government needs to be transparent and accessible. And by the way, we set that standard when we came into office. With the legislature, we made clear that the definition of the work we do would be accountable, would be transparent, and we would be responsible to Dutchess County's taxpayers. And that conversation is a two-way street, so to speak. So we launched efforts to be more transparent and to include residents in decision-making. We updated our county website. We launched Dutchess Delivery, which is sort of a constant contact service for county government. On the website, you can find Dutchess Dashboard to identify in real time those budget and economic indicators we use to make decisions. Today, in fact, as you leave, you'll receive the second. We issued one last year, but the budget in brief. In fact, they were very kind enough to make sure that I have one. Your budget in brief. This document makes understanding the county budget more easy to digest. In fact, you should have already gotten also your own little dollar. This is your dollar. It represents the dollars that you commit through taxes to Dutchess County government. You'll note, have I mentioned that 70 cents of it goes to unfunded state and federal mandates, and we only need the 30 cents to do the work? I've mentioned that, huh? Okay, so we have Dutchess Dashboard, the budget in brief, and of course these have been recognized by so many others. We secured a Digital Counties National Award for our internet and web web presence, IT services. We received a GFOA Budget Presentation Award for the great work. And most importantly, I have been out and around the county. In fact, we just recently launched Dutchess Dialogue. This is a new multidimensional ongoing community dialogue. I actually believe people who hold elected office and people who campaign for elected office ought to engage in dialogue. In fact, they ought to debate one another from time to time. They ought to present to the public their reasoned and considered positions and allow the public to choose who best to represent them. And you can only do that if government is always, elected officials, always engaged in an ongoing dialogue. These series of online interactive webcasts are coupled with face-to-face dialogues that we'll be holding and have been holding across Dutchess County. In fact, since 2012, I have hosted and held over 35 town hall forums in municipalities and communities across the county. So whether it's a senior center or a town hall, whether it's in the village of Fishkill or village of Tivoli or Millerton, they've been seeing far too much of us. In fact, there's more. I think there's more. There's probably more. Are they done? Ha, they're done. Okay, over 35 town hall forums in the last 3 years. I would say I'd put this example up against any other county official in the state of New York, because I think it's important to be out on the street talking and listening to residents, and we've learned so much. We get questioned all the time, did you learn anything? Did you take any of our ideas? The answer is yes, we do. I can't say that you said we should wake up at 9 o'clock, so we wake up at 9 o'clock, but I can tell you that you've offered great ideas that we've implemented and are making county government more efficient and more effective, and we all in the local elected office should be doing this. We'll be holding a series of town hall meetings on this budget, the 2015 budget, all throughout Dutchess County. I'd ask you to join us at one of those. If you can't join us at one of these town hall forums, you can find the budget in brief and now the tentative budget online at dutchessny.gov. In fact, I think it's online now. And if you can't attend one of those, I'd encourage you to participate in our second telephone town hall forum where we'll be calling all of you. It'll be after Election Day, so when we call, you should answer the phone. And it'll be a recording for about 10 seconds, but hold on, there'll be a live person on the end. Well, assuming I'm alive, I'll be on the other end of the phone. So I encourage you to participate in our telephone town hall. And I really do want to compliment the county legislature. You know, I think this is critical. I really do. And I think it's understated and underestimated. We have engaged in an open process. Rob Rolston knows this. The county legislature knows this. We accept criticism. We accept complaints, and we accept concerns, and it is critical for government to hear those kinds of things. And you have seen our warts. We're not afraid of showing you the times we misstep or make a mistake. If you expect perfection, it is not here. It's not in this room, on stage. It's not in human embodiment. I can tell you that right now. But what I do expect from government is the ability and willingness to listen. That county government ought not stake out positions because it's politically expedient, but rather find ways to solve problems for taxpayers. And by the way, get out of the way when taxpayers can solve the problems for themselves. Well, we have accomplished a great deal. We've made some difficult decisions, and they are beginning to materialize in this 2015 tentative budget. So let me summarize by telling you this. The 2015 tentative budget continues to address critical issues striving toward continued transformation of government. We are the smallest workforce in 32 years. We have improved fiscal stability, resulting in a bond rating increase, and this tentative budget for 3 years in a row now reduces spending even in light of mandated costs on the rise. We have taken a realistic, responsible, and conservative approach to budgeting. And through our efforts, the 2015 tentative budget provides the largest tax levy reduction in over a decade and rebate checks to Dutchess County's taxpayers. This is an important message to be sent. Government needs to continue to challenge itself to do better. As we look out on the horizon and look out into the future, we really are confronted not with a question of whether or not to go left or right. The question is whether or not we're going to move forward. We will continue to confront the challenges that face this community and solve the problems that need solutions. When we err, we will course correct. When an idea fails, we will admit it and we will try again. Together, as a community, we celebrate our successes and share in the credit. The 2015 tentative budget continues making county government smaller, smarter, and more effective. And with that, provides much-needed tax relief, targeted investment in infrastructure, farming, and small business growth, and keeps Dutchess County moving forward. I'm grateful you were here with me today. I look forward to continuing the dialogue, and I present the tentative budget to the Dutchess County Legislature for your consideration and adoption. Thank you, God bless, and have a great day. Huh.